Okay. So in the last session, we discussed about, okay. So in the last session, we discussed about web tables and drop downs, correct? Okay. So we discussed about drop downs and web tables. So now I will give some scenario. Okay. So we are going to discuss about new concept now. Okay. So I'll give a scenario and we'll see how to perform those actions and all. So currently what we're doing, I'm opening any website and I'm clicking anything and I'm sending the test, or I'm selecting any drop down values or checkboxes or radio buttons, whatever the elements that I found out, I'm doing some action on them. Now, let me open a website. Okay, so let me open a sample website. So now I want to move my mouse to this particular option. There is an option called enabled, right? I just want to move my mouse till here. Okay, using Selenium. Okay, this we haven't seen this kind of scenario where we can move the mouse kind of. Okay, so using mouse, I just want to move like this here so that I can get some options available, or else menu options normally we see in any website where we can see menu options. Once you move the mouse over the menu options, then we can see some of the options, right? So moving the mouse using Selenium, we haven't seen this kind of scenario as of now. So this is one scenario. And when it comes to clicking, okay, so right click. Okay, using mouse, you just want to right click on any button or whatever the options that you want to see on any element. So right click we haven't seen. We are using click method. So that is nothing but the left click when we talk about mouse. Till now we are doing the left click only. So what about the right click? Okay, or else if you want to double click on any element, as of now we haven't seen any double click, right? We just clicking one single click we are doing, single left click we are doing. Okay, double click we haven't seen, and the right click we haven't seen, and moving the mouse. So we haven't seen these kind of scenarios, right? So to do all these things in Selenium, we have a separate feature called actions class. There is a class available which is nothing but actions class. Using actions class, we can perform all these operations that I have discussed now. So like moving the mouse, like mouse hovering. Moving mouse is nothing but mouse hovering. We call it as mouse hovering. And else double clicking and then right clicking. Okay, all this kind of stuff we can do as part of actions class. Okay, so we can do both mouse based interactions we can do, and also keyboard based interactions also I can do. I can press any key. I can click on different keys like shift key, control key, different keys I can select. Okay, so different keyboard related also I can perform. Mouse related operations I can perform, and also keyboard related operations also I can perform using actions class. Okay, today we're going to discuss about only actions class. Okay. So when it comes to actions class, first we are going to discuss about the mouse based interactions, like moving the mouse hovering, right clicking on the mouse, okay, double clicking. So different things we are going to discuss today. Okay, so when we talk about actions class, in a class, what are the different things that are available normally in a class? What are the different categories that we can have in a normal class? We can have inside a class, what are the things that we can have? Methods and variables. Similarly, in actions class, we have different methods available. Using those methods, we can perform the mouse hovering operations, or else double click, or else right click. Different kind of methods are available. Okay, so here if you see, mouse based interactions are nothing but the methods which are available inside the actions class, where we can use these methods to perform the operations that I have discussed now. Okay, the first one is moving the mouse hover. How to move a mouse to a certain element. Okay, we have to see that. To move the mouse, we have two different methods are available. Okay, one is move by offset, and another one is move to element. Move by offset is one method, and move to element is another method. So two methods are available. You can use any of this method to move the mouse. Okay, so mostly we use the second method only. First method we will see some example, but mostly we use the second method to move the mouse to any element. Okay. So we will see move by offset, how we can do. First, we'll see the coding part and I'll explain about move by offset. Okay. So move by offset takes two parameters. This method takes two parameters. So one is X and another is Y. Y offset and X offset. For any element, we have an element location, correct or not? Web element command that we have seen, if you want to see the element location, what method that you are using? Web element command, get location, right? Get location method helps us to know the location of any element where it gives us a point. From the point we can take the X and Y axis. So those X and Y axis we need to pass it here for any element so that we can move the mouse to that particular element based on the X and Y axis of that particular element, right? So now we will see how we can do that. So first we'll discuss about move by offset and then we'll discuss about move to element. So both helps us to move the mouse to a certain element. Okay. So for that purpose, first I'm going to create a package. I'm going to package, not class. I'm going to create a package first. I'll name it as actions class. Actions class. Inside actions class, I'm going to create a class called mouse hover. H-O-V-E-R. Hover is nothing but just moving the mouse. Mouse hover. Okay. Mouse hover example. I'm creating a class called mouse hover. Okay. And then public static void main I need so now I'm using the previous code to open the browser. Open the browser, maximize the window and launch the application. Okay. For that purpose, I'm doing the same things. Same code I'm writing here. Okay. So opening the browser, Chrome browser, maximizing the Chrome browser and launching the URL. So what URL I'm going to use? I'm going to use I have already URLs listed here for different kind of websites for different examples. Okay. So I'm putting it here. Okay. So my scenario is once I launch the application, this is the application. So this is the application will be launched like this. I need to move my mouse over this enabled so that I can see the options. Just mouse over. Okay. So what I need to do now? So I launch the application, well and good. Now, if I want to access the methods of any class, what I need to do first? Create an object. Like we have to talk confidently. Okay. We have to create an object so that we can access the methods, right? So now these methods are available under actions class. We need to create an object of actions class, right? So create an actions class object. Actions, I'm giving some name here is equal to new actions. Okay. So this name I'm giving as actions with all the small letters. Okay. So actions class starts with a capital letter. Make sure you start with a capital letter. Actions, and I'm giving some user defined name. Whatever the name you want, you can keep it whatever the name you want here. And new actions. So this actions class we need to import from the Selenium corresponding package. Under which package it is available in Selenium, the package we need to import. So just put your mouse on the actions and you have to import the actions class from org.openqa.selenium.interactions. org.openqa.selenium.interactions. Just click on that. Okay. So it got imported. org.openqa.selenium.interactions. So now, once I create an action class, still the error is not gone because we have to pass inside this actions the driver instance. So we need to pass this driver, whatever we are using, that we need to pass inside this actions class. Then the error is gone. Okay, this is the creation of object for actions class, where we can use this reference variable and we can call the actions class methods, right? So now I'm using this variable actions dot, what I need to call method move by offset. So where it takes the two parameters, two integer value, which is nothing but the location of the element, x location of the element, y location of the element. So I need to call the move by offset. Here we need to pass the x location of the element. Here we need to pass the y location of the element. Okay. So to know the x location and y location, first we need to identify the element. Then using the get location, we can know the point. From there we can get the x location and y location. Correct or wrong? Yes. So now first we'll identify that element where you want to hover the mouse. To which element you want to hover the mouse, identify that element, get the location of that element, x and y axis. Then you pass it here so that we can move the mouse to that particular point. So now what is the element that I want to mouse over? This enabled is the element where I want to move my mouse. Just select this, right click and inspect. Okay. Inspect and click on enabled. So this is the link enabled, right? So now what I'm doing is I'm writing an XPath here, A, where text contains enabled. Okay, clear how to write an XPath using text, visible text. You already know it. Okay, if you don't know, just watch the XPath again, XPath video again and again and again until you comfortable. Okay, this is how we need to identify an element using XPath using text property. So using this element, first I need to identify this element so that I can get the location of the element. So here I'm going to write here. So driver dot find element. Why I'm writing here? Because before performing these actions, this move by offset, I need the location. That's why I'm writing it here. So find the element y dot XPath. XPath you pass it and you store it in a web element. I'm naming it as ELE. Web element you need to import from. Okay. From where you need to import? You need to import from org.openqa.selenium. Okay. Now using this, we can get the location. Okay. So ELE dot get location. This gives a what get location will give? It will give a point class. Okay. So point, and then I'll name it as point is equal to this point you need to import from again org.openqa.selenium. So using this point, okay, here we need to get the x location, and using the same point we need to pass the corresponding y location of the element. Okay, so this is how inside we need to pass x axis of the x location of the element and y location of the element. So now once I do this, okay, once I do this, this is not yet done. Okay, so actions dot move by offset again dot build dot perform and then semicolon. Okay, this is how we need to write dot build dot perform. Okay, this is how we need to write like this. So or else we can write in a one by one. So this you move it like this here. Again, this you move it like this, build dot like this also you can keep it. It's fine. So this is the end of the statement. We started here till here. This is the end of the statement. We close it with semicolon. So actions dot move by offset dot build dot perform. It is mandatory to call dot build dot perform at the end of the actions. Okay, otherwise these will not, you cannot perform these things. It will not move, mouse, it will not move. So you have to call at the end of the, once you perform certain action, then you have to call the build dot perform. So build is not mandatory, but perform is mandatory. Okay, normally it's good practice to put build dot perform. Okay, But when you call perform only, still it works because perform internally calls the build. Okay. So this is how we need to write to move a mouse to a certain point. So let us run this and see whether we are able to move it or not. So let me run this. Okay. You cannot see mouse movement, but internally Selenium does moving of the mouse. Okay. So this is how we can move mouse using move by offset. This is a method move by offset where we can say X offset and Y offset we have to provide. The name itself is saying we have to provide some location. Offset is nothing but the location kind of X offset and Y offset. Okay, let me close this. So move by offset. Okay. So this we can use, or else we can directly use move to element. Okay, this accepts web element directly. No need to provide location. Directly pass the corresponding web element. No need to pass the location. If you pass the web element to that web element, we are able to move the mouse. That's it directly without the location. So this is more easy than the location, right? So now let us try to do move to element method. The same operation we do, but using another method. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy. I'm going to comment out everything. I'll create again. Okay. So now I got the element directly without the location. I'm going to move to this particular element. I already identified an element, right? In the pre now. So I'm going to move to this particular element. Again, what I need to do, I need to create an actions class because I commented out. I'm just creating again. Create an actions class like this. And using an actions class dot move to element. Okay, where we need to pass this web element ELE, copy it here. Okay, and then dot build dot perform. That's it. Without the location, we can directly move like this also. So let me run this. Okay. So this is how we can hover the mouse. This is nothing but the mouse hover. Okay. So that's about the mouse hovering. So the next one is click operation. So what click operation will do? Normally, it will click. So first we are identifying the element and then normally we are clicking on it. Now, even the actions class is providing the click method. So where we can click on certain element. But how exactly it works? Click method clicks at the current location only. Okay, wherever the mouse is pointing at that location, it will click. Okay, normally the default location, what is the default location when we open the browser for the first time? 0, 0, the starting point. Okay, if you use click method directly in the actions class, it will try to click at the starting location. But that's not our scenario. We want to click on some element, correct? So now if you want to click on certain element, okay, so now first we need to move to that element, then click on it. Okay, first we need to move to certain element and then you have to perform the click operation because click performs the click at current location. Wherever we are, the location currently we are pointing out, there it will try to click. If we don't move, it will try to click at 0, 0 location.
Using previous section, click operation is done.
Yes.
But we are not performing build operation and perform operation.
That is a normal click using find element and then web element command. So you can click operation, you can perform in different ways. Normally find an element and click it. That is one way. The other way is using actions class. The actions class also provides the click operation. But how, if you want to perform using actions class, so first we need to move to the element because click performs at the current location only. Okay. So where you are specifying the web element, we are not specifying any web element here, right? So there are two click methods are available. We'll discuss about the second click method. First, I'm discussing about the click method where it is not accepting any parameters, normal click method. So till now, we are finding the element driver.find element.click. We are identifying the element and we're clicking on this element. Now if you use actions class, okay, so we have to click on certain element, right? So actions, if you're using actions class, if you don't move to any element, the click operation will perform the click at the current location. Okay, the operation like the feature of click method, it performs at the current location, whether it is 0, 0 or whether it is any element, it doesn't matter. It clicks at the current location. If we don't move the element to any element, it clicks at the 0, 0. If we move to any point or any element, then the current location will be that particular location, element location. Then we can click on it. Confused? Not understood? Okay, fine. So I will see practical and we'll come to know. Okay, if we want to use a click method in actions class, first we need to move to the element. Then you can click. So whatever the mouse is pointing, there it will try to click. If we don't move the mouse, it will try to click at the default location, which is 0, 0. Okay. Now we will see. Okay. So now what I will do is I'll open another website. Okay, I'll take this example. If you see in this grid, okay, there are multiple boxes are available. Okay, in actions class, you can use click method where we can click on certain element. Okay, there are two click methods are available. If you use a normal click method, if you have to move to the element, then you have to click. Okay, so otherwise it will try to click at here in the starting location. Okay, so I'll use this example where we can click, move to element and click on it. So let me create another class called click example in the actions class. If someone asks what are the different ways that we can click on an element, you can say using normal, after finding an element, we can use web element command click, normal web element, and also you can using actions class also we can click on an element. So now I need a main method. I'll use the same code. So this is a website. Okay, once I open the website, I need to click on this grid. Okay, first I need to click on the grid. There is an ID called grid, right? So this driver dot find element by dot ID. So this is a normal click which web element provides, right? This is a web element command click. So now we'll try to do the same thing, the click operation, same thing in the sense the click operation using actions class. So if you want to use again the same thing, we have to create a actions class object, actions is equal to new actions. Inside we need to pass the driver. So actions class we need to import from the org.openka.selenium.interactions. Okay. So now once we do this, now we have to call actions dot, let's say if I call click dot build dot perform. Okay, so it doesn't make any sense, right? You created actions class and you're calling the click method, but on which element you're clicking? No idea, correct? So click method performs the operation at the current location, whatever the location it might be. The behavior of click method is to click at the current location. So what is the current location by default? The current location will be the starting point. So we don't want to click here. I want to click on this one of these options. Okay. So to click on is any of these options, because click method performs the current location. If I move my mouse over using the move to element method, let's say this is a 5 element, right? If I move my mouse over this particular element like this, okay, using move to element method. Then if I perform click operation, click performs the click at current location. So what is the current location now? This 5 is the current location because we already moved to this location. So then it will perform a click operation like this. Okay. Why are you laughing? Huh?
We are placing mouse there and we are asking to click.
Yes. I didn't get your question. That's fine. Okay. Okay. So now this click method, because the click method performs the click at current location, so we need to move the mouse. Okay. So there is one more method of click where we can directly click on the web element also. That also we'll discuss without moving. Okay. So first we will see the normal click and then we'll see click on web element. If you will see the normal click method where it doesn't accept any parameters, first we need to move the element. Okay. So we'll see the same thing now. Using actions class, before clicking on this element, we need to move to element. Move to element I'm using. Okay. Where we need to pass the web element here. Dot, then click on that web element once you move the mouse. Dot build. Dot. Okay. So one more advantage of actions is you can perform more than one operation at a single point of time. And we can build all those actions into single action. Okay, move to element and click. We are doing multiple operations here. So multiple actions that we can do at a single point of time using actions class. That is one more advantage. So now, if you want to move to element, here inside what we need to pass? That element. First we need to identify the element where you want to move. So I want to move to this 5th location. So just click on this 5th, identify the location 5. Okay. So this ID we have, I'm writing an X path. Div contains @ID is equal to row 2. Inside this row, there is a li element of 2. Okay, there are multiple li elements are inside div. Okay, so inside div we have multiple li elements inside div. So I'm trying to click on the move to the second element 5, and then I'll click on it. So this is the okay. I'll edit again. So div @ID is equal to row 2 and then li of 2. I'll copy this. So here I need to pass the corresponding web element. So I directly I can pass driver.find element and then py.xpath I can write here also. But instead of doing that, let us store in some web element and I'll pass that. So like what I'm going to do is driver.find element by.xpath. So this location I want to move and then I want to click at that particular location. Web element 5. I'm going to import web element. So this element 5 I want to move. I just pass it here. Okay. Actions dot move to element at element 5 and then click at that location. Dot click dot build dot perform and then end of the actions. Now let me run this and see. Okay, it worked. So if you don't move, okay, to that particular element, so normally, okay, if you don't move that particular element, I commented out. So where exactly the click operation performs? Once I open the website, and it will try to click at the current location. So what is the current location by default? 0, 0, the starting of the website. If you don't move to any element, so it won't perform any action. Let me run this also. So if you want to use click method, you have to move to element and then you perform the click operation. Okay, that's it. So there is another click method is available. Okay, so if you use this click method, okay, so whether you move to element and click at the current location, it doesn't care of web element. So you just move the mouse wherever the mouse is pointing, you're clicking there. Now, instead of doing that, you can directly pass the web element also, where we can click on specific web element. Okay, how we are using previously driver.find element. Once we find the element, then we are clicking on it. Similarly, like this also, we can pass the web element inside the click method now, and then we can click on it. Okay, so we'll see the same thing. Instead of moving the mouse, okay, and then clicking on it, directly I can use the click method, and inside the click, I can pass the web element. So that particular web element, just click it. I'm just trying to say it, right? So now I'm commenting out this particular line of code. Again, I'm to call actions dot click at web element. Click at element 5. Now I'm specifying the web element also where I want to click. Now I no need to move the mouse. Okay, just dot build dot perform. Okay, that's it. Actions dot click dot build dot perform. Click at this particular location. So now I'm navigating to this particular page, clicking on the grid, and then I'm identifying the element which I want to click using actions class. I'm trying to click on that particular element. Now let me run this again. Okay. So this is how we can use a click method. There are two click methods are available. One click method doesn't accept any parameters. Okay, it clicks at the current location. And another click method where we can click on a target element where you want to click. Okay. Now drag and drop. So what is drag and drop? This I forgot to mention when I was explaining about the actions features. There is one more feature where I want to drag certain element to a certain element. Drag and drop. Drag and drop is nothing but we are clicking on some element and holding the mouse, the click, and then we are dragging and we are releasing it somewhere. Okay, click and hold the mouse, and then the particular element, and you drag it to somewhere and release the mouse, the particular click. So this is nothing but the drag and drop. So where we need to pass two web elements. So which web element you want to drag? Source element. Till what element you need to drag? Target element. Okay. So drag and drop. Just drag it, click and hold on the particular element. Normally, manually, when what you do, click and hold on the particular element, and you drag it to somewhere and you release it. Manually, I'll perform, and the same thing I'll perform using this actions class. So let me open another website. So this is a website that we have. Okay. So there is this particular element is a drag me. So this, if I want to drag it, first I need to click on it manually and then hold it. Don't release the click and you drag it. Okay. You click and hold and you can move it anywhere else. And you drag it to this particular target location, target element. So this drop here is a target element. Here, you just release the click. That's it. So this is called drag and drop operation. So let me refresh the page. Again, I will show you. Just click on this particular element, source element. Just don't release the click. Just drag it. You can drag it to anywhere. This is the target element and release the click. Okay. So this operation also we can perform using actions class using drag and drop method. What method we have? We have a drag and drop method where we need to specify the source element and also target element. Two web elements we need to put it here. Two parameters. Okay. So now let us do this using actions. Okay. So let me create a new class. I'll name it as drag and drop. And I'm using the same code to open the website again. So this is a website. Okay. Once I open the website, this is the just a second. Once I open the website, this is how it looks. So which element? First, I need two elements here. One is the source element, one is the target element to where I need to drop. Okay, so what is the source element here? What is the target element? Source is nothing but drag me. Target is nothing but drop here. So this source element I need to identify, and also target element I need to identify. So those two web elements I need to pass under drag and drop, that particular method. So first, let us try to create an actions class. The same actions is equal to new actions. Inside I need to pass the driver. Don't forget to pass the driver. Okay. And actions I need to import from the Selenium package. Selenium.interactions package. Now using actions dot, what is the method? Drag and drop, where we need to pass the two web elements. Drag and drop dot build, sorry, drag and drop dot build dot perform. So inside this drag and drop, I need to pass the source web element and target web element. So I need to identify those two elements. So before calling this method, I need to identify those two elements first. So first, let us try to identify this drag me element. Okay. Let us try to identify this drag me element. I'll inspecting this drag me element. Okay. So this is an element for drag me. We have an ID called draggable. Okay. I'm copying this ID. I'm trying to identify that element. So what I'm doing is driver dot find element by dot ID. I need to pass it here so that I'm storing in this web element. Web element, I'm naming that source or a source element. Source ELE, source element. This web element I need to import from Selenium or org.openGui.selenium. Similarly, I need to identify the target element. Target. So I need to inspect this. Just click on this inspect. Again, I need to identify this drop element. We have an ID again for this drop box. This is nothing but droppable. I'm taking this ID. So now again I'm going to create driver dot find element by dot ID. I'm going to pass this ID here. Again I'm going to store this in a web element and name it as target element, to where I need to drop the element. So we have a source element. This element I need to drag and drop to this particular target. Source element, target element. These two I need to pass here inside this source element and target element, to copy it and pass it here. Clear? Now, if you see the same operation, drag and drop operation, we can perform using this actions class. Now, once I open the website, let me wait for some time so that we can clearly see. Okay, otherwise it will happen very quickly. I'll wait for some 5 seconds. Okay. Add throws declaration. Okay, that's it. Now let me run this. Okay. So that's how a drag and drop works. So these are all the different advanced interactions that we are doing. So mouse overing, the drag and drop. So we can also perform double click, context click. These are all the advanced interactions. So advanced interactions that we can perform using actions class only. Okay, directly we cannot perform. Okay. So this is about drag and drop. Hope everyone clear as of now. Any questions till now? Easy or difficult, or how you are feeling? Easy only, right? Okay, fine. Guys, please respond. Whoever joining online teams, are you able to understand?
Sir, this one easy.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, no problem. Okay, so now we'll see the other interactions. Okay, so till now we have seen till the drag and drop. So now we want to double click. Okay, like click, we have two methods: click at current location, click at particular element. Similarly, for double click also we have two methods: double click at current location, whatever the mouse, wherever it is pointing, it will not consider about the web element. It will not consider directly. It will click at that particular location only, wherever the location we have pointing out, unless double click on certain element. And also right click. Now normally we call it right click as a context click. Context click is nothing but a right click. So where we can click normally in mouse, we'll click on right click, right? Using Selenium also we can perform right click operation using this method, context click method. Context click, it's nothing but right click at current location and right click at particular web element. Okay, same how we did with click. So if you want to use double click directly or else context click, first we need to move to that particular element, then we can perform, or else directly we can do it on particular element also. Double click and then right click, or normally we call it as context click. So this is an important question in actions class. Okay, how we can drag and drop. Okay, how we can right click in Selenium. We can say using actions class we can do that. Okay, so then I'll ask us to write code. What is the method for right click? You have to tell us context click is the method where we can use it for right click. Okay, so now we'll see this double click and context click both. Okay, so let me close everything as of now. So first let us talk about the double click. Okay, then we see the context click. Context click is nothing but the right click. Just a second, guys. Okay. So for double click, I don't have a proper example that we can show it here. So I will give this example. So there is a drawable text is there, right? This text. If I click once, what will happen? Nothing will happen, right? This is the droppable text that I have. I'm trying to click on this text, which we can see it here, this text. If I click normal click, single left click, nothing is happening. But if I double click, what will happen? It will select the text. So there is no proper example that I can show it for double click, so that I'm using this example. So if I click normal click, it doesn't happen. So to make sure that is working, double click is working fine or not, I'll try to click on this text, double click using the Selenium so that it will highlight. Okay, we'll see the double click now. So now I'm copying the same code to open the website. So this is a website, same website I'm using. Once I open the website, I need to create a actions class to work with a double click. Actions is equal to new actions. Inside we need to pass the driver instance. Okay, so this we need to import from actions class, sorry, package, corresponding package. Now using this we can call the double click method, because I want to double click. So actions class dot actions dot double click is the method that we have to use. Double click dot build dot perform. So where we are now, are we specifying any element location here? No. If you are using double click, normally you have to mention the location. Otherwise, it will click at the default location. So double click works. Okay, it clicks at the current location. The current location nothing but the default location. So the current location, when it will change? When you move the mouse, then the location will change. So whatever the location it is pointing, then we can click at the particular location. Okay, it doesn't care about where we are, on which element we are. So whatever the location that the mouse is pointing, that Selenium is pointing, there it will try to click. That's it. Double click. Okay, if you want to use double click, normally you have to move the element. Then only you can perform this operation. Okay. So first we need to move to the element. So this is the element. There we can move to this particular element. Let me inspect this droppable. Okay, this is the element droppable. Okay, there we can see the visible text. So now we have a class called main header. Let us see if we can use the class. Yes, we can use the class. So what is this I have written now? Huh? Main header is fine. What kind of locator I have written here? CSS selector. I have mentioned dot here, dot and then class name, right? When you're using CSS selector, the idea is you have to start with hash. The classes you have to start with dot. And we are also identifying only one element so that I can use this. Okay, I'm using CSS selector now, the main header. So first I need to identify the element, then I can move to that element and then double click at that current location once I move. So now, so driver dot find element by dot and then using CSS selector and then class name. You have to mention the dot before the class name. So now I'm going to store this name, web element, label, some label. Okay, so I'm going to import web element. Okay, so once I import the web element, now I can perform the action. Before double clicking, I just need to move the mouse, move to element. I'm not using move by offset. Okay, again I need to take the location and all. That's not necessary. I'm directly using move to element, where I move to element label. So the label element I'm moving. So from the 0th location to the mouse will move to this particular location like this. And double click clicks at the current location. It doesn't care about the element. So here once I move, when I click double click, it will select the corresponding text. Okay. So now after moving to that particular element, I'm performing the double click at that particular location and then build and then perform. Okay, clear. Now let us run this and see if it selects. Double click works. Okay. Droppable, the text label is got highlighted. This is how we can do this. And I'm commenting this out. Now we have another double click. Instead of moving to element and clicking, directly you can click on the particular element itself. No need to move. Okay. So then you have to use the double click where it accesses the parameter element. So the target element where we want to double click. So again, I have already web element is there. So that I'm using driver dot. I'm using double click. We have one more method where we can pass the element directly here itself. No need to move. If you use normal click or double click, then we have to move. Otherwise, we can directly click on that element. This is one more method that we have. So you can use this. It is very simple to use, right? So now then build dot perform. This is mandatory to call. Okay, let's say if you're not able to, we are not calling the build dot perform. First, let us see what will happen. We should know, right? What will happen. So first we'll run this. Sorry. Nothing will happen. Okay, execution also stopped. Let us go to this execution. Nothing happened. These are not failures. Okay, this is a normal text. Okay, there is no failure also. Operation also did we not able to perform nothing. Nothing happened. Okay, so that is the reason we have to call the build dot perform before closing the statement. Build dot perform. Now we'll run. Okay, this is about the double click. Double click is working fine. Now we have to see the right click. So the method which we have for right click is nothing but the context click. Okay, context click at current location and context click at particular web element on which element you want to right click or context click we can say. So this is a method that we have to right click. So now we'll see the same example again. We create one more class. I'll name it as right click. So I'll open one website where we can see another website. I'm going to take it. So this is a website where we can see the context menu. Why we are clicking on any element? Because we'll get some options if we get, so that we can select any of the options kind of. So if you want to see the what are the different options available, so that we need to right click on that element. This is not a normal right click that we perform. These are window related options. Okay. So this right click operation performs differently. Okay. When we click on this element, let's say there is a box called right. So when we click on right click on this element, I'm getting a pop-up. Okay. So if we click normal left click, nothing will happen. Okay. So how to know whether we are able to right click or not? So we'll see the pop-up. Left click, if you perform on this box, nothing will happen. But when you click on right click, you selected a context menu. You're getting this particular pop-up. Okay. So first, let us try to identify this element where we can move to this element and we perform the context click. And then directly we perform the context click on this element. Okay. Now let us try to identify. This is the location. This is a website that we have to use. And then first I need to identify this element. Inspect this particular box. You have an ID called hotspot. Okay. First I need to identify this driver dot find element by dot ID. I am storing in this hotspot. Okay. And naming it as web element. Okay, some name I'm giving. Web element I'm going to import from org.openki.selenium. So now I want to move to that particular element and then I want to perform double click. Okay, double click at current location. First we'll see that option. Then we'll see the double click at element. So now actions class I need to create. Actions is equal to new actions. Inside we need to pass the driver instance. Don't forget to pass the driver instance. So import the actions from org.openki.selenium. So now using actions class, first we need to move to element and then we can perform the context click, which is nothing but the right click dot build dot perform. Also can do like this. Dot build dot perform. Okay. So this is how we can move to an element and then right click on that element. So how to know right click? So if we click right click, then only we'll get the pop-up, otherwise we don't get. So how exactly it works, then we can see whether it is performed right click or not. So let me run this and see. Yes, we are able to perform the right click. That's the reason we got the pop-up. Okay. Now the same thing we'll do with another method, another context click method, where we don't want to move the element directly. I want to perform that particular element itself. Okay. So using actions dot context click. Target element I need to pass here. In this element, I want to right click and then dot build dot perform. So let me run this. Okay. So these are the different mouse based interactions that we can perform using the actions class. Okay. So mouse based interactions we can perform, keyboard based interactions also we can perform, keyboard based operations also. As of now, whatever you are seeing, these are mouse based, like moving the mouse, like right click, double click, okay, drag and drop, everything are mouse based interactions. Hope everyone clear.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now let us go with the keyboard based interactions. Okay. So when we talk about keyboard based interactions in the sense what operations that normally perform, you'll click on any element. not any keys, right? Manually, you'll type Q to A to Z. We have different keys available. We have shift key, we have control key, we have function key. Different keys are available. Normally, manually, we'll click on those elements, click on those keys. The same things we can perform using keyboard interactions. Okay, there is two methods are available: key down and key up. Okay, where we can key down is nothing but the pressing the key. Key up is nothing but the releasing the key. Okay, normally when we talk about shift, normally when you click on shift and then normally you release also, right? Clicking and releasing. The two things you can perform. Click operation we can perform using key down, like where we are selecting some, we are pressing some key, and releasing the key we can perform using key up. Okay, and now again in actions class also we have send keys. Again in actions class also we can send keys method is available, where we can send to a particular element. So normally what we are finding element using driver.find element. Normally till now what we did, driver.find element, and we are identifying some element, and with dot send keys we are entering the text into some text box. Once I identify the text box, here also we can perform the send keys method. In actions class also we have send keys method. This is one more way that we can send keys, send the text. One way is normally driver.find element.send keys. Using actions class also we can perform send keys. Okay, so these are the different methods that we have to perform: key down, key up, and send keys. Okay, we'll see the example. So normally I want to enter some text, right, using shift key. Okay, I want to enter some text using shift key. So once I enter using shift key, what will happen? So normally it will enter in a capital letters, shift, and then if you type any letters in the keyboard, it will enter as a capital letters. I want to perform this operation. We'll see, because I want to see all these three methods at once. Okay, so key down, we have to click on the shift key and we send the keys to a particular element, and then we release the key, shift key. Okay, so normally if you're trying to enter some text using key, so normally if you enter normally some keys, it will enter in a small letters. But once you hold the shift key, don't release it. Once you hold the shift key, press it, and then if you type any letters, that will enter as a capital letters. Once you're done with entering the text, release the shift key. Okay, key down is the method which we can perform to click on the certain key, and key up is the perform to release the key. And then in between releasing and pressing on it, between we send some text. After pressing shift key, enter the text, release the shift key. That's what I want to perform. So we'll see all these three actions at a single point of time using actions class. Okay, so now I'm going to create one more class called keyboard interactions, something like this. Okay, because I want to do all the things at the same and single point of time. Finish. Okay. Now I'll take again one sample random website where I can see some text boxes. Any website you can take, because I want to enter some text using shift key, so that I want some text box. Let us take this full name. Okay, so normally if I type anything, it will enter in a, let's say the full name, if I enter as Mahesh Babu, okay, something like this. Okay, or Pawan Kalyan, whatever you want to enter. Okay, once I enter type like this, it will enter in a normal small letters. But once you press the shift key and don't release it, now if you enter, try to enter these keys, it will enter in a caps letter, and then release the shift key. This I want to perform on this full name. So now I want to perform to this, so that first I need to open the website, right? So let me copy the code to open the website. So this is the URL. So again, we need to create an actions class, because these are all related to actions class only. Till now we have seen the mouse based interactions. Now we are going to see the keyboard based interactions. Inside into pass the driver. When we are creating select class, when we are handling drop downs, we are creating a select class object, right? Here we are creating an actions class object. Similarly, we created a select class object when we are handling drop downs. Inside the select class object, what we are passing? Inside the select class object, yesterday, when we're dealing with drop downs, inside the select class, what we have passed here? Huh? The select element, web element. Once we identify the select element, that element we pass it here.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But here in the actions class, you have to pass the driver instance. Okay. Just remember these things, differences, small differences makes a lot of difference. Okay. So now I'm going to import this actions class. Okay. Now using this actions class, I want to perform the keyboard based interactions. First, I want to press the shift key and then enter some text and release the shift key. Okay. So to enter shift key, what method I have to use? Key down. Once I shift key down, and then I have to enter some text, right? I'll explain, and then I need to release the shift key up, and then build, and then perform. Okay, now we'll see. Here comes the code, actual code. So now inside key down, what key I need to press? Huh? Shift key we need to press, right? I need to mention what key I need to press, whether it control key or shift key, what key we need to press. Any key we can specify. Okay, so keys dot. Okay, when you type keys, K is capital. When you type keys dot, all the keys that are keyboard keys are available. Arrow left, arrow right, arrow up, backspace, cancel, clear, command, control, decimal, F1 to F10 function keys also available. F1 to F10. Okay, home key, insert key, left key, right key, number pad keys, everything, all the keys which we can see on the keyboard, all the keys are present here. So now I want to select the shift key. So keys dot, just F the shift. Okay, I'm pressing the shift key here. Key down is the pressing. I'm pressing the shift key. Once I press the shift key, I need to enter the text on which element? This first name web element, right? So send keys normally when we perform normal send keys, first you're identifying the element and you're sending the keys. Now here using the send keys only, you have to enter the text here also. First here in the send keys, we can pass the web element here inside the send keys only, where you want to send the text, on which element you want to send the text, and also the corresponding keys. I want to send IIS Babu. Okay, everything I kept in small letters because I'm clicking on the shift key, it will enter in a capital letters. Okay, now here I need to pass the corresponding element text box. In this text box, I want the text, I want to enter the text, this particular text. If I don't press the shift key, it will enter in a small letters only. Because I'm passing the shift key, it will enter in a capital letters on the corresponding web element. So that we need to identify the element first. Okay, so before going to action class, I'm going to identify that element, driver dot find element by dot. So let me inspect this first full name where I want to enter the text. Inspect this full name. So we have ID, username. Using ID, okay. So this, I'm going to store it in some web element. I'm naming it as full name element. So import this web element from org.openqt.selenium. Just copy the web element. In this web element, comma, you need to pass this text by pressing the shift key so that it enters in the capital letters. So this is send keys method in the actions class where it accepts two parameters. One is the web element and second parameter is the text that you want to enter in the web element. So once I enter the text by pressing the shift key, normally it enters in the capital letters only. And then I cannot keep on pressing the shift key, right? I need to release it once I enter some text. So again, key up where we need to release the shift key. Will not perform. Clear? Clear, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Now let me run this, because here I'm entering in the small letters only. Everything I have given small. Because I'm pressing the shift key, it will enter in a capital letters, and then I'm releasing the shift key. Let me run this. Before entering, okay, before opening the website, after opening the website, once I open the website, I'll wait for some time so that we can clearly see. Okay. So I'm giving some 5,000, 5 seconds. Here 5,000 is a milliseconds. Okay. I'm just keep on repeating things so that you will clearly understand. Even though I am repeating so many times, you're not able to understand. That is a problem. Okay. Just read out once you go home. After this class, again, you don't come with a blank mind tomorrow. Just at least whatever I did, whatever I taught, just you practice. Okay. So that you'll clearly understand. So let me run as Java application. We will see how we can enter the text using the shift key, pressing the shift key. This is one example. If you want to play with any other case, okay, normally manually just try to identify and then perform the action. Okay, open any website, not only shift key, any keys that you can perform. Okay, try to do that. We'll see. So this is how you're able to enter the text by clicking on the shift key. Okay, clear everyone? Any questions as of now?
It's clear, sir.
Okay. So we have one more concept called tooltip. Okay. So that we have to do using actions class only, handling the tooltips. So that we'll discuss tomorrow. That is one concept left with respect to actions class. That is not included in the actions class. That is another concept where we need to handle the tooltips. It's a kind of elements kind of, like how we handled web elements, like the drop downs or the web table. Similarly, there is a tooltip element is there. So those we need to handle, that we can handle using actions class. Okay, so that we'll see tomorrow and the remaining concepts. Okay, so any questions? Just practice this, whatever we told today. That's all I need from your side.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Okay,
so
sir.
that's it from my end for today. So have a nice day. Bye bye. See you tomorrow.
Sir, previous classes, please send in our mail ID, sir.
I've already sent, right? It's
No,
already
sir,
there, all
we
the videos.
received.
Just a second.
Yeah.